I want to know how you prepare for a golf tournament.
Well, I hit balls maybe 20 minutes, putt a little bit, smoke 4 or 5 cigarettes, drink 3 Diet Cokes, and go to the first tee. Some days I won't even go to the range.
It is a Tuesday edition of the Daily Puck Drop, the DPD Tuesday, July 9th. We are inside the Puck Sports Studios, built by our good friends at Limbach Lumber. It's summer season. It is hot as Hades. Get that deck finished. Get that fence finished. Your fence is falling down. My fence is falling down. I'm going to go to Limbach Lumber and get some new lumber. They are going to help you out with all of your summer do-it-yourself projects at Limbach Lumber. So give them a call right now at 206-782-3487. Visit them online at limbachlumber.com. They've been serving the Northwest since 1930, third generation. Down there in Old Ballard, they have stayed. They have planted their flag. Limbach Lumber, and of course, the Limbach Lumber Studios, Northwest premier supplier of specialized lumber and moldings. Again, Puck Sports Studios, this fine studio built by Limbach Lumber. Couldn't do it without the terrific help of Paul, Mark, and Matt, and everybody there at Limbach Lumber. So again, you're a small contractor or you got a project you want to do yourself this summer. If you're in the Seattle area, even outside the Seattle area, they have free delivery too within Seattle, but even outside the Seattle area, come on down, shop local. In fact, I was just talking to my buddy, Mike, he's going to get a kick out of this one, from Mike's Chili Parlor. And here's another old school place. Go visit that one. Been around for 100 years. Okay, right off the Ballard Bridge. These are why I love these two places, because they ain't going anywhere. No one's going to push these two out. Stop trying to push everybody out. But I was talking to Mike, and Mike was like, God, I went up. He was doing a project. He went up to a Home Depot, and it was just a mess. He couldn't find what he was looking for, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. And it was hard for him to get any help with them. But he got a few things, and he came back, and then he realized, I got the wrong thing. This is not exactly what I needed. And he goes, well, what am I doing? Instead of driving all the way back up there, where I didn't get any help, I'm going to go local, and I'm going to go to Limbach Lumber. And that's exactly what he did. He goes, he pops in there. They have exactly what he wants. There was someone there to help him. They didn't have to run around and push a button. Can we get an orange vest, please, on aisle 4? And then that guy, Mike, or Daryl comes, and Daryl doesn't know anything about lumber. He's got no idea. He's just there. Daryl's collecting a paycheck because he's out of work, or he's retired, and this is what he wants to do on the side. So my buddy Mike from Mike's Chili Parlor went there to Limbach Lumber and just said the service was outstanding. It was great. They were helpful. They knew exactly what he needed. They helped him out even with the project, gave him some ideas about it. And that's what they'll do there at Limbach Lumber. They're going to help you out if you want to do it yourself. Now, can I do anything myself? No, I can't do anything myself. That's why I married my wife. She can do everything herself. She would walk in there to Limbach Lumber, and she would be able to hold a conversation with those people about wood and things to do. If I go in there, which I have gone in there and talked to these guys about anything, and they start, I don't even know what the language is. I don't even know what the verbiage is. I'd be like, okay. I'm an idiot. But big thanks to Limbach Lumber. Again, the Limbach Lumber Studios, the Puck Sports Studios, built by Limbach Lumber. What a fun show yesterday. We should probably just start there. Man, I'm going to tell you, it was, if you didn't catch yesterday's Daily Puck Drop, the DPD, boy, you missed a good one. It was the return of the go-to guy, Jim Moore. Here's the best thing about it, and he'll be back on tomorrow on Wednesday's show. I was so nervous about doing the show, not because of working with Jim. I was nervous that he wouldn't be able to get his equipment to work right. We had done kind of something the night before, make sure it works, and and all of this stuff. You're getting, we got him a new mic and just plugging it in. No, it's not going to work with your iPad. It's going to work with this. It was a long process, but because there's a lot going on. The platform that we use to record it can be a little bit confusing. So I was a little nervous for Monday's show. So as we're getting ready to do it, and it was a great show. Once it was over, I had realized that this thing I didn't have it set to this microphone. I had it set to my computer microphone like a freaking idiot. So all of the worry that I had that it would be Jim that would screw up, this guy, this putz over here was the one that screwed up. So I know the audio was a little off yesterday. It wasn't that bad, but it's still, you could tell the difference. So my apologies. E1, I'll take it. And that son of a bitch he's just gonna laugh in my face so much tomorrow, and rightfully so. He's justified to laugh at me, but it was great to have him back on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and who knows, it might be 5 days a week. I don't know. Jim thinks that I'm only doing it 3 days a week because I only want him to do 3 days a week. I'm doing it because he's semi-retired. That's why I'm doing it. And I don't want to be like, hey, you want to do it 5 days a week? I've got nothing to give you. I can't give you anything. There's no money coming your way. So it was more of just like, I don't want to I'd like him on every day. I don't want to push it with him. And he's old. And we've seen recently, right, what's going on in our world. Old people struggle. And he could be struggling. But I don't think he's struggling that much. He looks good, sounded good, good spirits. First time somebody did a show from a laundry room, which I thought was a nice touch. Had a good look to it. And what I loved about yesterday, if you didn't see it or haven't watched it or listened to it, again, you can find this on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Real quick note on Spotify. I'm not sure what happened yesterday for you Spotify listeners, but for some reason it wasn't uploading. It was some issue, outage all across, all platforms for Spotify. Spotify was having some issues yesterday. So I know a lot of you are just Apple listeners, listen that way, and whatever other, platforms that you use to listen. But if you are a Spotify user, it wasn't anything on my part. I didn't screw that up. It was on Spotify's end of things. It's all fixed now, I think. So you should be able to listen away. So go back and listen to it or watch it on YouTube. And I'll just say this. We said it yesterday, and I'll repeat it again. I thought we had the best show. I still think we have got the best show in this market. And it's because we mix it. Well, one, we're just kind of real dudes. We don't sit there and manufacture storylines and topics and do all that and get all, on our high horse on subjects and topics and play the who's right, who's wrong game and keeping score and all that kind of stuff. We just have fun. It's two guys, I think, sitting at a bar talking about sports, talking about life. And that's really what it should be. I think we always get lost, whether we're watching sports, talking about sports, what have you, that a good portion of it is entertainment. You want to be entertained, right? And I think that's what we do, and I think we do it better than anyone. And right out of the chute, this guy was on fire. I mean, he was shooting arrows at everyone. But what was really cool about it, I've been doing this three plus months, solo, this part, and then we have the guests. And I told Jim last night that I just forgot. I mean, I've always known and still know how much fun it is to work with him. But I didn't really realize until we wrapped up yesterday just how much fun it was and is to work with him. Keep talking in the past tense for some reason, but how much fun and how much chemistry we have together and how much we just make each other laugh. So I hope you enjoyed yesterday's show. If that's any indication how the rest of the summer is going to go, I think we're going to be okay. And Jim will be along for the ride throughout Puck Sports. But right out of the gate, this guy we're talking over each other just like we're on radio. And I knew exactly when he started talking about his kid, Stevie. He's got, of course, two twins, Stevie and Mikey. We love him to death. And he told us about a proud dad moment that he has had here recently with Stevie, who's 20 years old.
So Stevie's 20 years old. He makes a good margarita already. So he was like, hey, Dad, you want another one?
Are we blended or on the rocks?
On the rocks, yeah, but he puts it in a shaker thing and shakes it up, and he's just like a bartender doing that.
Well, you know what? I think that's there's a lot of things that make I think a parent smile and have a little bit of a tear in their eye, and usually it's about what a great kid they are in the community, sports.
I know where you're going.
What a great student. The tear in your eye is. Boy, my son can make a good margarita.
Yeah, I know. Jesus. Well, don't you think when Owen's 20 years old, if he makes you a good margarita, you'll be proud?
I'll give him all my money. I mean, I love a good margarita, but that's I pulled that clip out because for me that's Jim right there. It's just he's got such a great sense of humor. It's simple. He's simplistic, and he's just a good-hearted dude. And the fact is that I knew when he was going down that story with Stevie, I just knew, knowing him for as long as I've known him, that I knew that would make him proud. I mean, there's lots of things that make him proud of his kids, not only Mikey and Stevie, but Brooke. But it's just something like that where he's like, yeah, man, you make a good margarita. That's good. And on the rocks, always. Yeah, I think early on when you were younger, you liked it blended, but now it's too much of a brain freeze. And then I don't like how it separates. So on the rocks, of course. And I do. I'm going to have a margarita tonight. I like that little Cutwater margarita. That's one of that little thing in a can's fun. That's fun in a can from old Cutwater. But Jim Moore again, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for now. And if you want to start a petition to have him on more, we'll force the old guy to do it even more. What do we got today? All right. Well, Mariners. There was no Mariners game yesterday. They had the off day. We still talked some baseball yesterday with Jim Duquette. And in the midst of that conversation with Jim Duquette, we started talking about second baseman Jorge Polanco. And Duquette was pretty adamant and straight to it that the Polanco, I guess, experiment needs to stop ASAP.
Needs to play more. He's not the answer, but he's 100 points better than Polanco, as an example. Polanco shouldn't be playing as much as he is. Something to just mix up and upgrade the fringe of the roster.
Polanco experiment's got to be over. They got to move on. And you know what? They tried. It just didn't work. He's hitting 189. He's got a slug. He's slugging 284.
OPS is in the 500s. That's absurd how bad it is.
And Jim was talking about playing Ryan Bliss more. Now, here's the thing. I don't think, and I think he would acknowledge it too, I don't think Ryan Bliss is the long-term answer. I mean, but I think it's still too early to say whether he's not. Now, I've got a buddy who's a scout in Major League Baseball. I asked him about Ryan Bliss, and he just said that, hey, I think Ryan Bliss is a nice player. He's okay. But his point was, at least his opinion, from one scout, was that when you play him more, he's just going to get exposed for who he is. And maybe that's the case. Now, people can be wrong. We're all wrong about stuff, right? Say, Jim and I, we can admit when we're wrong. I think you can admit when you're wrong a lot, but so I don't know if he's the answer. Nor do I think necessarily the guy that I want to see him just be replaced with is the answer long term. But for Polanco, it's over for Polanco. They need whether they do it now, whether they wait till the All-Star break or after the All-Star break. Jorge Polanco is done, and they know he's done. And they might as well just rip the Band-Aid off now and just move on. They owe him $4.5 million. Big deal. Move on. Eat it. You've got so many people coming into your turnstiles into your park. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to eat it. He does not need to play anymore, nor should he play anymore. It's over. It's a sunk cost. He's not going to turn it around. He's just not. There's no signs of him turning it around. He's hitting 189. His on base is 280. He strikes out all the time. He's slugging 284. And you heard Duquette say there. I mean, OPS is down throughout the league. It's like 706 or 711, I think, is the average. His OPS is 565. His OPS plus is 66. The normal or average is 100. That's the baseline. It hasn't worked. It's not going to turn around. They keep running him out there every day. They are doing the whole team a disservice. Get him off the team now. He's got a negative 0.5 WAR. It's surprising that it's not the worst on the team. I was stunned by that. Stunned. I'm like, well, negative 0.5. That's easily the worst one. Nope. It's the other acquisition that they had that a lot of us said it right when it happened. Nope. Why would you bring him back? He's old. He's broken down. And you're replacing Teoscar's productivity with him. But the worst war on the team is Haniger. And we all love Mitch Haniger. There's not anyone that doesn't love the guy and what he's meant to this organization. But that's over. I mean, they keep running him out there every day. It's just terrible. This is the offense. I mean, the Seattle Times, the headline today, terrible. It's been terrible all year. It's awful. It's a miracle they're in first place right now. Dylan Moore needs to be playing every day at second base. Every day. Now, again, will he get exposed playing every day? I mean, he's playing a lot anyways. Okay, fine. Yeah, maybe. Sure. But when he was filling in for J.P. Crawford, short, he handled himself quite well. There are guys on this team, Raley, Rojas, and Moore, that have to be playing every single day. And I know they play every day because of pitch hitting situations. And I'm sure we'll talk about it with Divish coming up on Wednesday. And he's right. And I get that. But they need to start every day. And does it affect your bench? Perhaps. Yes, of course it does. They've got to figure out some bench help. But those guys in particular are your three best players right now. According to WRC Plus, Raley's 111, Moore's 111, Rojas is 106. Play them every day. Insert them into the lineup. It doesn't matter who's pitching. Moore at second, Rojas at third, Raley in left. It is a freaking lost cause in right field. I mean, it's just a disaster. Doesn't matter who you put out there. Canzone can't hit, can't throw. Haniger's done. So they just have to find a right fielder now, as fast as possible. But they've just got to get rid of Rojas. Just get rid of Polanco. But, Moore, his WAR is 1.4. Rojas is 1.9. His average on the season for Moore is 213. He's slugging 412. His OPS is 730. 112 OPS plus for him. Runners in scoring position, he's delivering for you. He's slugging 439, 825 OPS. With 2 outs with runners in scoring position, it's better. Is he the best second baseman in the world? Maybe not, but he's not terrible. Hasn't committed error. He's got a fielding percentage of 1,000. Just play him every single day. And we all acknowledge that he's not the answer permanently. And when you can finally find a permanent solution at second base, then put him there. And then you can put Dylan Moore back to his utility role where he's bouncing all over the place, because you always need guys that can bounce all over the place. But you need to specifically Moore, Raley, and Ross, run them into the ground. And I went, well, it's not going to fix the offense. Okay, you don't know that. I don't know that. But nothing has worked with them. So stop screwing around with the lineup. What was the thing with Ron Popeil? Why am I blank? What was the product where he said, set it and forget it? Hold on. Give me a second. I got to look it up. What was that? We need the music, the little elevator music. Set it and forget it. God, people are listening to this right now, and you are screaming at your phone or wherever you're listening right now, and you're just screaming. You know the answer, and this idiot doesn't. What was that damn thing called? The set it and forget it. Was it like a rotisserie thing? Was something where wasn't it like a rotisserie cooker? God, this is going to drive me crazy. And I'm trying to look this up right now. That thing was awesome. The set it and forget it. Not the Chopomatic. It wasn't that, right? The Ronco, the set it and forget it. God, he was the best, wasn't he? Set it and forget it. Set the lineup. Forget about it. Stop tinkering with it. Just run those guys out there. And until, hopefully, that maybe you can improve the team via a trade. But run Dylan Moore out there at second. Run Rojas at third. Raley in left. Haniger's a lost cause. Canzone can't play. Bring Locklear back up. Get rid of Polanco. Simple. I mean, it's just do it. Just try it. See what happens. France has been a little bit better. His WRC plus is 100. France hasn't been awful. He hasn't been good, but he isn't certainly not as bad as some of these guys on this team, and they're not going to do anything with him. And here's the thing right now with France, nor can they do anything. I mean, they have so many holes offensively. It's just ridiculous how many holes they have. And I hope that, this young wave of talent is on its way, but it's not on its way for a few years. But, we've gone over this. Garver at least is playing a little bit better. It's a good sign here lately for Garver. 479 slug, 800 OPS, since June 1st, 7 home runs. He's driven in 22. So at least with the weather turning, Mitch Garver appears to get a little bit more comfortable. The weather hasn't made anybody else better. I mean, June's been nice. July, obviously, we're just a week plus into July, but weather hasn't changed them much as they go into the break. But yeah, they the hole there at first, future hole at third, future hole at second, left field, right field, center fielder and shortstop got to get it going now. Now. They got 3 leaders on this team that need to start leading. I mean, the catcher leads. Raleigh's a stud. And I know the average stinks and all that. Power numbers are good. Great catcher. Busts his ass off. Plays every day. Plays hurt. Because they don't really have a backup catcher. He's out there all the time. Probably has 15,000 different injuries that he won't talk about. Just a stud. I mean, why? Yeah, I have such I think we all have an appreciation for catcher. I have such an appreciation for catchers watching, Little League All-Stars here this last week and a half, watching these kids who are like 10, 11, and 12 catching in this heat. And just the look and how much they got to work back there, even at that age. And now you just imagine what it's like at the professional level. But he's a stud. But that shortstop and center fielder, whatever they got to do, they have got to get going right now, because a lot, we can bitch and moan about all the new players, and we have. A lot of it's on those two, because they've got to set the example and start leading and get going. Gregory Santos was activated yesterday. Not going to pitch on back-to-back days. He was sharp in Tacoma, so good news there for the bullpen. That definitely needs some help. They'll start a 2-game series with the Padres coming up today. Adam Azur gets the start there for San Diego's right-hand pitcher against Logan Gilbert. Total tonight is 7.5. So we on the Bet M's Summer Under Tour continues. We are 28, 31, and 2. So we'll see. Yeah, I think the under is going to be pretty good again tonight. Bryce Miller against Michael King coming up tomorrow. Trade rumors in Major League Baseball. Nationals, according to The Athletic, Ken Rosenthal and others reporting, Nationals are in full sell mode. They will be in sell mode. They've got a nice young team. Of course, with that big deal that they made with Juan Soto, James Wood coming up the other day, C.J. Abrams, and, of course, Mackenzie Gore. So they got a young core based on that Soto deal, which, again, that's how it's supposed to work, right? Trade, helps everybody out. And they are trying to sell off guys who are just expiring contracts. One of them is Dylan Floro, 33-year-old reliever, 2.06 ERA, 35 Ks, 11 walks. So if you need some bullpen help, maybe the Nationals can provide that there with Dylan Floro. The other name, God, you guys are going to get a kick out of it. The other one that they would like to get rid of because of his expiring contract is our good friend, Jesse Winker. Would you bring old Winker Ball back? Huh? Winker's having a fairly good season. You put Winker on this team, he's leading damn near everything. He had 268, he's on base of 382. He would be the leader on the team, I believe. I think almost in every category. He's slugging 436. His OPS is 818. His OPS plus is 138. 10 home runs, 41 runs driven in. He would answer your one of your spots in the outfield. You could throw Raley over in right, put Winker in left, huh? Bring him back. I say another tour for Jesse Winker just because I want to see really the fan base lose its mind. Because, again, as I mentioned before, a lot of this is about entertainment, and that would be entertaining. And then I want to see his teammates hate him again. Old Jesse Winker. Yeah. God, wouldn't it be the Mariners to do it? Huh? Wouldn't it be so Dipoto to bring him back saying, hey, you know what? Let's do it. They got another outfielder out there who's got one more year of club control, Lane Thomas. And I think it was Duquette that brought him up weeks ago. But Lane Thomas is 28, hitting 245, slugs 406, OPS 710. It's not like it's, oh my God, it's a splash trade. It's a solid trade. It's a solid pickup. And certainly better than what you've got in right field. So if they're willing to sell, you obviously got to call the Nationals. Jim Duquette, again on yesterday's show, reiterated something that I didn't like to hear. And he was telling us that the Blue Jays, you can forget about Bichette and Vlad Guerrero.
Ross Atkins, their GM, came on my show three weeks ago, said they're not moving either of those guys. The two they have under control. They want to try to sign them up maybe this winter. Okay. Vladdy and Bichette I'm talking about. But, with Vladdy, it's going to have to be two impact. It's going to have to be, Ford plus. Top, probably the top 5 or top, certainly a top 10 in addition to Ford.
So you think, despite all the smoke, you believe what Ross Atkins told you on your show, that you believe him. You don't think that they'll move Bichette or Guerrero?
It doesn't sound like it. Again, it's, things change. They're looking at this, according to somebody within Toronto's organization. They're looking like this, like it's a down year, like the Yankees had a down year, didn't make the postseason last year. Down year for St. Louis, they didn't make it. They're looking at it more as the aberration than the rule. It's going to drive Blue Jays fans nuts.
So if you had the hopes up of Vlad Guerrero, which I do, and I think a lot of people do, and even we didn't have Bill Kruger on yesterday. We had some technical problems with Bill, and it just things didn't work out. But I know, talking to Bill in the past, he wasn't a fan, but he's kind of changed his opinion a little bit on Vlad Guerrero. I'm all in on Vlad Guerrero. But if they don't want to move him, then, it takes two to tango. And if they don't want to, then okay. Now, I think GMs say that all the time, and I think GMs say that to former GMs who have radio shows to drive the price up. But if it gets too, if it makes too much sense, or the prospects in return just too good, they may listen. But we'll see. I don't think the door is closed on Vlad Guerrero Jr. At least maybe it truly is from Toronto's side. But I think you keep knocking. I think you keep knocking on the door. Therefore, Vlad Guerrero Jr. Go listen to that whole podcast yesterday with Jim Duquette. It was great. We talked about a lot of things, baseball trades, changes what they could do to increase offense. I mean, we talked about even moving the mound back. Just something. I mean, the offense is just, these pitchers are so good now. Such an advantage because of how hard they throw. And they're going to keep throwing harder. This isn't going to stop. I mean, we're going to see guys. I mean, we're seeing guys hit 103, 104 now. I mean, how far off till we see guys hitting 108? Who's going to be the first 110 guy? You think it's crazy, but is it? You see the first guy throw 110 miles an hour. And do they have a conversation at some point of doing something different with the mound, whether it's moving it back? I don't know. Something. The Katie Griggs story, we haven't talked about this one yet. So she left. She made the announcement she's leaving the organization. She cited family reasons. Now, there's a bunch of rumors out there. I'm not going to, that I've heard and been told, not going to sit there and rehash them here publicly, but that she wanted to be closer to her family. That was the reason. Okay, so she moved back east. And then 2 days later, she takes another job with the Orioles. The same job. So I know everyone wants to just completely believe it on its surface, because I had said something on X about how, hey, just something's not right with this. People are like, Why are you so skeptical? She said she wanted to move back east, and she did. I don't know. It's in my nature to always kind of question things, and I question this a little bit. I think, yes, no doubt probably there's something personally going on to be closer to family, but there's just one. She's the president of a team. If there was something going on with her family, okay, or personal reasons, other than I just want to be closer to family, I don't know why that can't wait till the offseason. And then if it's truly something, and I hope it's not anything bad, but you can travel back and forth. You're the president of an organization. We've got people working remotely all the time. She can't work remotely. And I don't know exactly where her family is. She grew up in North Carolina. And obviously North Carolina is closer to Baltimore than Seattle is, or, Seattle to North Carolina. But just something feels off about it. I think you're the president of a business operations for a team that's in first place about at the All-Star break, who's got revenue pouring in, attendance pouring in. Everything's been good on the business side. And you pick up and grab your bags and leave middle of the year. And I would ask this because it's a question I'd have. Did the Mariners know she was even interviewing for the Orioles job? Did they know that? I'd love to know from John Stanton. Did it catch them off guard that, hey, I think you have to at least have the thought, or at least the opinion, not an opinion, but the thought that maybe she told them, hey, I want to be closer to family, so I'm going to move back. And they're like, okay, we want you to stay, but we understand. I think there's a possibility they had no idea that she was interviewing for the Orioles job. And here's the thing. You don't interview for a job like this, like in a week or two. I mean, how long has this been going on for? Now, does her leaving affect the on-the-field stuff? No. She has nothing to do with the on-the-field performance. She's the business president. It's all business side. But I think what it does is there something else going on with inside that ecosystem of the team, the ownership? Is there something maybe she didn't like with the ownership and she decided to leave? I just, don't always fully 100% believe people when they send out a message or a statement talking about something like this. It just, to me, I think there's more to it than just being closer to family. That's me. Little League season is over. Shout out to the Ballard 11U All-Stars. Our season came to an end last night at the North Shore Athletic Fields. As first pitch temperature was 98, and I believe it was 120 degrees on the field. Hey, at least I've lost some weight. Well, not really, because, I'll get to that in a second. But boy, it was a great game. We had to win to move on to face our rival, our hated Queen Anne squad up on that hill in Queen Anne. Their fancy little uniforms, but lost to Shoreline yesterday. Shout out to Shoreline. Great game. It was a fantastic game. 7-6. We had a shot last at bat. We were down to 2 outs, and we had our 10th hitter who I don't think has gotten a hit this year during All-Stars. Yeah, I don't think he did. And he hit a somewhat deep shot. He got a hold of it. He made contact with it, and it sounded so pure off the bat. We had a runner at second, down 7-6. He hits it to, probably middle center field. Center fielder was playing in, and I thought for sure when it went off, it was like the scene out of The Natural. When it hit his bat, when his bat hit the ball, and that sound, right, that ding, I'm like, oh my God, yes. I can't believe it. He just tied the game. But that center fielder made a great play, didn't come in, and they had been a little iffy in the infield and the outfield with their defense, and I thought for sure, I was convinced, and our kid was running from second hard, he's going to score. I was convinced the young man, the little boy, was going to drop the ball. Did not drop the ball, made the catch. Game over. But boy, they battled. They worked their tails off, and they had, one of the things with that Little League, Ballard Little League, they were, it's been a rough few years for that Little League and that All-Star game, and they did something for the baseball side, a moral victory to get that close to winning a game and advancing, something that no other team had a chance to do here recently. So we were proud of them. Proud that they had to play in that heat. Proud of all those kids that had to play in the heat, not just our kids, but all of them. I mean, it was, if you were out there watching or your parent or what have you, I mean, it was damn near 100 degrees out there all week long. And on that field, you know, and some of them are turf fields, I mean, and grass fields too. But, I mean, it was 120 plus on the fields. It was so hot. And not only just the players, but the coaches out there. Again, I think I lost a lot of weight until after the games. And then also all the umpires. So big shout out to all the umpires out there. Boy, you guys just, you don't get it acknowledged enough. But you guys were out there in the heat, and it was awesome how much you guys all support Little League Baseball. But congratulations to Shoreline advancing, played in Queen Anne here on Tuesday, and to all the teams. 12U's championship wrapped up yesterday. Shout out to the North Central boys. They're moving on to state, so good luck there. And then I don't know where we're at with the 10Us and 11Us, or the 10Us right now. But and our Ballard 10Us had a great showing as well, and they're going to be some studs. Those kids in a couple of years are going to be studs for sure at that 12U age. But it was just fun. I was going to say I lost a lot of weight during the games because it was so hot, bleeping hot. I put it back on, and you know who's going to be sad that Ballard 11U is knocked out? Is I won't be able to see my friends at that Dairy Queen in Woodinville. I'm not pretty sure I did. Every day I went to that Woodinville Dairy Queen. And so I think, supported them more than anybody else. And it just, I have this long stance that you can't drive past the Dairy Queen and not stop in and get a Blizzard. And that Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, Blizzard is probably the greatest thing that's ever been invented. It really is. And it was my dinner 5 out of 6 nights. Protein, right? Protein. I think it works. Yeah. But again, Ballard Little League and just the Little League District Day tournament all around, and all the tournaments all around the state. Good luck to all those advancing to state. All right, especially at the 12U division, because that's the big thing, right? That's the Little League World Series, and hopefully we've got a team coming out of this state that can represent us again, just like last year there with Northeast Seattle. All right, Hey, What the Puck, as we always wrap up the Daily Puck Drop with Hey, What the Puck. New reality for WSU. I was waiting to kind of see this story when it would come out, but the salary is out for David Riley, the new basketball coach. He is going to make $600,000 in year one. Now, $600,000 is a lot of money, but when you're a college basketball coach at Division I level, that's not a lot. Kyle Smith made 1.5 in his last year. KookFan.com's got the story on it. They got the contract details. Kyle Smith reportedly is going to make $2.5 million at Stanford. So you know why he left. I mean, a lot of reasons why he left. More money. Son who has, I think it's autism there for Kyle Smith's son. And they've got a great department there at Stanford, a great department for his son. So there's a lot of factors why Kyle Smith moved. It's the Bay Area, it's Stanford, and it's a stable conference, and I get all of it. And I think money plays a part in it, or it has to, because he was probably told, hey, we need to take a salary cut. And if that was the cut, yeah, it's not more than half his salary, potentially. But that's the new reality for WSU athletics. And we'll see what happens here in the next few years. It's amazing they've been able to keep their football team together as much as they can, and they'll probably keep paying those guys the wages they deserve at the expense of some of these other programs. And so, but it's a hard task there for David Riley. I'm excited to see him coach, though. Love what he's did at Eastern Washington. All right, over to golf news here on Hey, What the Puck. Keegan Bradley, Ryder Cup captain. I'm excited for Keegan Bradley. I'm just a little disappointed because Tiger Woods allegedly or reportedly turned it down. I would have loved to see Tiger at this event. I think Tiger eventually will become a captain and will be great at it, I hope. But I think Keegan Bradley, who should have been on last year's team, but Zach Johnson wanted the Buddies Club and the Boys Club and picked guys over him, and Bradley was more deserving. Bradley loves this. I mean, he is kind of Americana, and he relishes the competition. Not like those other guys don't. They do. But relishes it, burns it. And I love Ricky Fowler, but I don't think Ricky Fowler bleeds it and keeps him up at night. This keeps Keegan Bradley up at night. I think he's going to crush it as the captain. Here's what my advice for the Ryder Cup and the Team USA. Keep him together. Keep him together for a few years. They keep turning, and hopefully he wants to do it. They keep turning over coaches and captains and philosophies. Pick something out and keep to it. the pod system and the stats and all this crap they come up with all the time, and and trying to reinvent the wheel. It's simple, okay? You've got to get these guys to care about it. Why Europe wins every year? Because they care about it. It's not because they're in pods and the stats and all this other stuff. They care about the tournament. It's important to them. It's pride. We don't give a shit. Evident last year when you got Cantlay and these guys bitching about money and we should get paid for it. For Team Europe, money, they take it, they probably say we should be getting paid for it, but they don't think about it. We, American greed, that's all we think about. That's why we lose. It's the only reason. They're the more talented team, by far the more talented team. But they just can't get past being a team and having country pride and pride in playing for your country. They need that. Okay. Europe's always going to be kind of the underdog. They need to recapture that. Hopefully Keegan Bradley can do that. I think he can. I think he's going to be a great fit there for Team USA. Today's guests here on a Tuesday, John Canzano and Brad Adams. So we'll talk college football, sad story coming out of the NFL and involving the University of Oregon. We'll touch on that with John Canzano. Brad Adams of Root Sports, baseball talk. And again, please check out yesterday's show with Jim Moore. He returned on the Daily Puck Drop. It was awesome. It was so much fun. Have him back. He'll be back Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And also Jim Duquette. Yesterday's show there with Jim Duquette. And a reminder, no Bill Kruger yesterday. We was having some technical problems, so we didn't get that, but we'll have Bill Kruger back on next week. Also, quickly, I'll remind everyone here before we wrap up on Hey, What the Puck, voicemail line is open. Go to pucksports.com, upper right-hand corner, pucksports.com. The voicemail line is there. Leave some voicemails. We play the best ones on Friday. That number, 425-577-7272. Monday edition of the Daily Puck Drop is in the books. Broadcasting from the Puck Sports Studios, built by our good friends, Limback Lumber. Go visit them at limbacklumber.com, 206-782-3487. Puck Sports Studios, built by Limback Lumber. Again, John Canzano, Brad Adams coming up later today. Until then, we promise to be better.
No shirt, no shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!